nsọ gị Chukwu ka anyị na-abata, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Anya bịawa ịsọpụrụ gị ugbu a, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Chukwu nna n'ụlọ gị ka anyị na-akpọ gị, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Otito na-adịrị gị mgbe niile, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ụmụ Eliwayi kọta n'otu, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ka anyị jikọọ ofe ya ofufe Gọdian, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Gọdianism bụ ịhụnanya n'udo, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Butere anyị ụzọ kpetara anyị azụ, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ise ya gazie.
Ndewo otito niile dịrị Chineke. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for joining us today. I don't know where you are, but the weather here is awful in Georgia. Georgia is experiencing a snowstorm. And I've got to be honest with you, when things happen here in Georgia, people literally can't handle it. So unfortunately for us today, DB Otraja UD is not able to join us because he's lost power at his place, and they're running around trying to find space heater because they don't have heat. I mean, it's crazy out here. Even the grocery stores are literally empty. People are rushing about trying to get whatever they need to sustain them in this terrible, terrible weather. So I'm certainly grateful that I'm not running around for little essentials to sustain my family at this time. But so keep everybody in Georgia in your prayers, because it's looking rather bad out there. It really is. I'm watching the snow coming down. You know, it doesn't usually snow in Georgia, but when it does, oh my goodness. So anyway, I'm Okedibia Dr. Wonyo Husimiri, and I am so excited to welcome you to our first show, 2022. Welcome to Chism Live, our internet gathering space for the Global Faith Ministries of Chiism, a ministry of the Godian religion founded by Ahan K.O.K. Onyoha, who has since joined the ancestors. We'd like to ask you to follow us on African Spirituality, Chiism Live on YouTube, also Chiism Live on Facebook. And do follow us if you want to have conversation with us on Global Faith Ministries of Chiism, Guardianism on Facebook. As I indicated earlier, I don't have my co-host today with me, but I do have our special guest, Dibia Chia Dozie Okoro, who's going to be joining me a little later in the program. We're always excited when he joins us because he's just full of so much information that he shares, and we certainly enjoy all of it. So anyway, I want to start by asking us to take a moment, obviously, to thank the Creator for this wonderful opportunity, and certainly thank all of our ancestors for us being here. We are here because of them, obviously. Today we are going to remember universal ancestors. Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're African, white, purple, or green. It doesn't matter who you are. You have ancestors. And so we'll ask you to remember them today. For us, the ones that researched and taught us who we are, those freedom fighters that stood for what was right and what is right. We want to remember them today. In my culture, an ancestor is somebody who has achieved the ripe old age of 80. So as I remember my ancestors, the freedom fighters, and you know them yourself, those who have reached at least 80, I want wherever you are, you can call out their names. It's important to call out their names because they continue to live. They continue to guide us as long as we remember them. Obaja Hanke Onyoha. He left this earth at age 80. Noha Ngozi Onyoha left this earth at 91. Nelson Mandela at 95. Rosa Parks, 92. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Many of you, I don't know how many of you are aware of that. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe was the first president of Nigeria. He left this earth at age 91. Sojourner Truth at age 86. John Lewis, who has just died last year at age 80. Kofi Annan, most of you know who the Kofi Annan is. He left this earth at 80. There's so many of them, I can't call all of them out, but we remember them today. They are those freedom fighters, and we are grateful for what they did. And so we say Ashe and Ise in their memory. We also remember our own personal ancestors, those who gave birth to us, who nurtured us and taught us. It could be our aunties, it could be our uncles, it could be our cousins, whomsoever nurtured us. And if they reached the age of 80, remember them, call up their names wherever you are. So you give them honor. And not only that, you maintain that connection with them. I remember again, Obaja Hankeo Konyoha, no Honyoha, Ngozi Onyoha, Mugo, that was my great aunt, my mother's side, Obimusa, my mother's father, Daddy Bome, my mother's aunt. I want you to call out your own. I'm just give you a second. Think who they are and then call their names out. If a second is too short, take 2, 3, 4. I don't care. Just call out their names. Just remember them. Keep that connection going. That's what we Africans do. We don't forget our ancestors. We remember them. And also, I want us to remember those who are still on their journey. That's those who have not reached the ripe old age of 80, but they're still on their journey and they're still connected to us. I remembered my brother, Nchwaja Chukwemeka Onyoha, my husband's mother, Luella Irving, my sister, Ozwe Onyoha, my cousin, Irebu, my uncle, Uncle Oji Onyoha, my aunt, Auntie Sunday Onyoha, You have your own relatives who are still on that journey. They're not 80 yet, but they're on the journey. Reincarnation, we believe in reincarnation. They're still on that journey. They'll be back, greater still. So I want you to call out their names. We also want to welcome the present moment, the blessing that the moment is. Ubacheta, Obuechi, Obuwanechi, ta, today. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow is on its way. All we've got is today. So we give thanks for the present moment. We salute the power of the moment and salute everything present in the moment. We salute Mother Earth, the wind, the rivers, and the oceans, the vegetation, for all their life-sustaining gifts. We honor each other, men, women, and children, and be reminded that everyone has worth. And sometimes we tend to disrespect each other, forgetting that only through through each other, do we receive God's blessings. Everyone is part of that human tapestry, and through whom we receive the blessings. It's so interesting to watch people doing for other people and getting satisfaction doing it. And then when the person who receives the gift leaves that space, goes somewhere else, they say, thank you, Chineke, or thank you, Jesus, or thank you, Allah, or thank you, whoever their source of inspiration is. But remember where that gift came from, where the blessing came from. It came from another human being. So we must honor each other, remembering this is what we're here for. In addition to everything else, we're here to serve the divine. I want to remind you why we're here today. We have a very special discussion. But before we do that, let me remind you, at some point today, find a moment, find somewhere that will offer you environmental tranquility, a space for psychological focusing. You see, Chineke, our creative spiritual energy, will listen. You don't need the noise of the world to call upon. Sometimes we think we're going to be in church and screaming and carrying on. No, you don't. Maybe serve some people that way, but not necessarily. You can find a quiet place and call upon Eke. Eke listens. Call upon Chi. Chi acts. Based on what you have shared with Eke, they work in consultation. That's our belief system. That's the Chi's belief system. It may differ from your own manner of giving thanksgiving. That's perfectly okay. But that's ours. So today we are going to be talking about the new year. And I say Happy New Year to all of you. You are blessed. Here you are walking amongst the living. There were so many people who died yesterday and were buried yesterday. Some will be buried today. So how fortunate we are that we are here. So Happy New Year to all of you. Let us remember, we just celebrated the Gregorian New Year, but there are other New Years going on in our world. I think we have to have our minds open enough to understand this is not the only New Year people are celebrating. All of it has different meanings. The Chinese are going to be celebrating their New Year, February the 1st. It has meaning for them. And in Ethiopia, for instance, the New Year is celebrated I believe it's in the second week of September, while other cultures mark the celebration in October in Africa. In Igbo land, at least my part of Igbo land, and in Nigeria, New Yam Festival is held at the end of the rainy season, which differs in different communities, but normally starts from early August to I believe October, during which new yams are ripe and harvested. So New Yam Festival marks our own New Year. So what does New Year mean to you? That is the question today. What are the pros and cons of the New Year? What does it mean to you that you've seen another year, either through the Gregorian calendar or whatever you still have to celebrate? For most of us, New Year represents beautifully, is a symbol of a new chapter opening in our lives. That's what it's technically supposed to be. It's a new book you're writing, new book of your life. Whatever you didn't achieve yesterday, this is the year supposedly you're supposed to achieve it. So the question is, how are you going to go about it? The main reason why New Year's resolutions don't work, quite frankly, is because many of us don't have specific New Year resolution. It's not specific, it's too general. You know, it's always good to dream big, certainly. It's always good to think I'm going to do all these wonderful things, but you need to break your dreams down into what they call SMART goals. According to George T. Doran, I think it is, Doran, SMART means that your goal must be specific, it must be measurable, your goal must be assignable, it must be realistic, and it must be time related. Try not to make goals that are short-lived. They're not short-term. You want to make long-term goals. Majority of people give up on their resolutions because they get, if they're short-term, they get bored with it. So all these resolutions, they continue to repeat it every year. So the conversation we're going to have today is, what's good about New Year's resolutions? What's significant about it? Does it make sense? Does it even make sense to make it? Some people say, don't even make it. You don't even need to make it. Just do whatever you have to do. It's just another year. Just continue what it is you're doing, because a lot of times you set yourself up to fail when you make all these resolutions that you're not able to carry on. But perhaps for you, it's important to make those resolutions. So I'm going to bring in my dear friend, Chedozie Okoro. Let me bring him into the stream. Okay, I'm trying to bring him. There you go. Chedozie, can you hear me? Kedukwan, Happy New Year.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Happy New Year to you. Did you hear what I
said? Same to you. Sorry.
Who's that?
That's my baby.
Oh, hello. Hello. How are you?
Say hi.
Hello, Ma.
Hello, my darling. How are you? Good to meet you.
I don't know whether it's I don't know whether it's my mic that is having problem or is it for the studio.
No, I mean, I can hear you very well.
Okay. So I'm doing so good. And the year started very well.
Did it really?
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're talking about the pros and cons of New Year resolutions. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think for me, the way I see it, question of year is the way us human beings have tried to develop time chart for measuring time as against our goals and aspirations, our ambitions. So to create pattern, okay. But for me, if you look at the earth is just rolling on. It's rotating and rolling on. It's night and day. For I do not know whether outside the human realm, if animals and trees obey the laws of time the way we obey it in terms of seconds and minutes and hours and days and weeks, months, years, centuries, and so on, decades, centuries, and millenniums. I don't think any other thing outside the human being obey this regiment. So they are regiments created by us. And that is why, like you said, different people have different timing for their new year. If we were following our own traditional calendar, we would have been in New Year between August and September. I think mostly by 1st or middle of October, we will have celebrated our New Year. And the Chinese, like you pointed out, will be celebrating their New Year in February. So that's to tell you that there is no such fixated time concept in nature. The issue of time is natural. It's not natural. What we have outside there is that the earth rotates and it revolves, and then we have night and day. So issue of time is a human concept. It's a human concept, and that's why time is relative. If we were in a typical village where things are slow, no internet, no internet service, and we can even get to call people out, your timing, concept of timing will change. And if you're in the city, fast-moving city like you are in Georgia, then the concept of time will change, because so time is a human thing. And that is why the year thing, issue of New Year resolution, it depends on you, how you have set your own time goal, your own time chart, and what you want to achieve in life. So if you have, like you said, focused aim, targets that you want to achieve, all you need to do is to segmentize in which quarters or which time of the year or which how many years, like you say, rolling plan. And so it's not only nations that should have rolling plans. Human beings as individuals, we should also have rolling plans about our lives, so that quarterly we will evaluate how far have we gone. But I think if you ask me, if you really want to talk about New Year resolution, my New Year resolution is set on my birthday. My birthday is my New Year, because that's the very particular day I completed a cycle. So I don't have to wait for the Gregorian calendar before I make my New Year resolution. So at the 15th of every June, I always evaluate what totality of what I have done in the cycle of my year, and then I project forward and I'll try to calculate my set goals and ambition. What have I done wrong? Which patterns have I to change? Which methodology have I to fortify? That's the way I look at it. So it's, but a lot of us think that the way the Gregorian calendar is the way it runs in nature. No, it's not in nature. It's a human thing. And the more we educate our people to know that time is a human concept, then we can better create time of our own within the time given to us.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that, because what is happening, because we're basing it on the Gregorian calendar, right? So if we have not achieved anything from January, or we have not achieved our goals between January 1 and December 31st, then we have failed, right? We try again.
Sure.
But it's not really based on our own concept, of who we are. With, like you said, the year you were born, that's when you start counting. What have I achieved? I love that idea. Well, what is that? Is that part of the culture? Is that something that you yourself initiated for yourself, as opposed to using the Gregorian calendar?
Yeah, it's something that occurred to me, and then I wasn't sure until then I started my journey in the African mystery system. So within the Yoruba tradition in which I started my journey, that's what you call Odinfa. So Odinfa, usually the Yorubas celebrate Afa. For us, Afa is pure methodology. For them, Afa is pure, both seen as a deity and also a divination. And so, but for us, Igbo, it's not a deity, it's pure. We call it, Afa is used for Mbase or Tuase, investigation, searching into the deep. So it's just a pure instrument. So for the Yoruba, your Odinfa is your birthday. And that birthday marks, for those in the mystery system, Yoruba mystery system, it marks the beginning of your own new year. And so that helped me to now build further on what I had tried to develop within philosophy, because one thing I've come to learn in philosophy is that philosophy is best when you learn the purpose for which we we read philosophy. We don't read philosophy to understand philosophy. We read philosophy so that we understand who we are, our mental capacity, and that we are in charge of ourselves. So the first thing philosophy teaches is self-mastery. From first mastery to mastery of the order, that what is called altruism, problem of altruism or otherness. And then after you have mastered the order, then the environment. So, and like Sun Tzu, the Chinese philosopher, was said, once you can master these three, Socrates and Plato so made thyself, beginning with the ancient Egypt. But the Chinese, Sun Tzu say, know thyself, know the order, and know thy environment. And if you can always create a synergy between these three, it will be difficult for you to lose anything. It's a question of timing and programming and being patient, working towards your set targets consistently. And when you do so, do not despair. So, philosophy first helped me in understanding when I first get to understand what philosophy is all about. And then I now began to see the politics of scholarship in Africa, why the colonizers did not introduce us to philosophy, rather introduce us to their language, their history, their legal system, their religion, and they didn't even I think it wise to introduce us to their own philosophy, because philosophy in any guise will begin to take you to the journey of self-realization, especially metaphysics, ontology. And since that's my area, ontology, and you cannot do ontology without talking about the human ontology. And the human ontology is an assessment of what the human being is, from the conscious to the subconscious, the totality of our being. And then you begin to now understand that the human being is not the frame, the human being is the mind, and how, to which extent you understand that you are the mind.
That is just absolutely wonderful. One of the things that, when I find amusing when people have New Year resolutions is that they have a myriad of, there's a whole lot of them. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be rich this year. I'm going to get a new house. I'm going to get a new husband or new wife. I mean, there's so many things, but what we fail to realize that all of those things take time to cultivate, right? So what do you think about that? I mean, I personally think you take one concrete goal, or perhaps even two, no more than that, and focus on making that become a reality. And I like, as I indicated earlier, how you said it's preferable that you use your own birthday as a gauge, okay, as a yardstick for measuring where you've been and where you want to go. Okay, but if you cloud it like we do, I mean, do you think? Now I'll ask you that. I think that a lot of reasons why people make all these New Year resolutions is, they go to maybe a party, right, where everybody's sharing all their thoughts and all their aspirations, and you just join in. Why not? Hey, I can make the same. What are your thoughts about that?
Sure.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Did you hear me?
Well, I think that you said it all. There's a difference between someone who is into self-search, understanding the self, and someone who is just and someone who is just a go-go individual, someone who tag along.
Okay, we're kind of having difficulty with your. Okay, I'm going to bring him back. I think he's having difficulty with his video. I'll bring him back into the stream. But you heard what he said. I think that is really, and I hope that you all agree. I love the fact that it's better. No, I'm not. I'm certainly not saying there's anything wrong with the regular Gregorian calendar or any other calendar for that matter. But when we personalize, the new year by gauging using our birth dates or birth year actually, as a yardstick, I think that would be wonderful. I do believe that that would be a whole lot easier, actually, because it's yours. It's personalized. Muna chimso. I am doing this with my God. Nobody else has to know but me and my Creator. This is the day that I was chosen to come into this world. So now what I do when I'm old enough to start making my own decisions is important. It's my decision. I really love that. I really love that. But a lot of individuals, as I have said earlier, we make a lot of decisions based on what other people are doing. If somebody says, if your boyfriend or husband or wife or say, hey, I'm going to lose weight this year. And you say, yep, I'm going to do the same thing. And then what happens is, if your mind is not really in it, and it's really based on what other people are saying, you'll find what your partner or whomsoever, if that's their own goal and it's not truly yours, but you go along, you're going to get tired. Before you know it, you're going to drop out. So it has to really be, your goals have to be minimal. They have to be SMART goals. That means that you have to be able to measure it. If you're trying to do something that you cannot measure, it's not going to work. It has to be reliable. You have to be able to know that, okay, I can do this. Your goals have to be specific. What is it you want to do? Not a whole bunch of things, one thing. So maybe this from your birthday, I like that. I'm getting obsessed with that. But from your birthday to the next one, I am going to lose weight. Okay, just take that. That's specific. Just take that as just one goal, and not decide, oh, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to get rich. I'm going to do the. Now, if you want to get rich, then fine. Then you're going to have to do what you need to do so you get rich. And wealth is not something that you can't achieve because by virtue of your birth. Yes, to some degree, that may impact it. Okay. But if you really are determined that you are going to be financially stable, there are all sorts of things that you can do to get yourself where you need to be. Okay. But that is one specific goal, and it is measurable. It's measurable because if let's say your birthday is the 15th of June, from the 15th of June, 2022 to 15th of June, 2023, how can we measure that you have gotten wealthier? By what's in your bank account. That means that you are actually measuring to see how well that you've done. You're not just talking about it. That's something that you really want to achieve. And the only way to achieve it, it has to be measurable. I have to know that, June the 15th, I had $20,000 in my bank account. But by the next year, I have 50. That's measurable. Even if it's $5, you had $5 to start with. By next year, you've got $10. I'm just using this. It's quite a low number. I would hope that you'll climb beyond that. But the bottom line is, it has to be measurable. Be specific, and you have to measure it. Don't aspire for anything that you can't measure. It's not going to work. You're going to get bored and you're going to lose it. If you want to stick to the Gregorian calendar, okay, January 1st to the 22 to January 1st, 23. Can you measure what you want to do? Can you measure it? Is it assignable? What does that mean? Can you assign that responsibility to myself, to yourself, or do you have to give it to somebody else to do? Who's going to make sure that you make money? Is it your responsibility, or is it someone else's responsibility? Now, I've got to say this. The only way it should be someone else's responsibility is if they are paying you for doing work, but not for you to beg. That is not a New Year resolution. I'm going to make 50,000 today because I'm going to beg somebody. I'm going to knock somebody and tell them that I'm a widow and all that stuff. I got 10 kids to take care of. That is not a way that you're going to make money. You have to work for it and determine what it is you have to do to work for that. If you can't make what you're talking about you want to make, then it's probably important that you go to school. Go to school. Do whatever you have to do to get yourself where you have to be. Is it assignable? And then, of course, the other thing is it realistic? Is it realistic? Can you really do it? If you're saying that you're going to make 50,000, well, are you able to? If you say you're going to lose 50 pounds, are you able to? I told my daughter the other day how many pounds I want to lose. And she just kindly told me, Mom, that's nice. But is it realistic? You know, it's not realistic to say, oh, I'm going to lose 25 pounds on so-and-so date. Because that's not realistic. It has to be realistic. If you want to be wealthy, it has to be realistic. How much money are you trying to make? Make sure that you have things in place that will get you there. That's realistic goal. Is it time related? What time frame are you giving yourself? When do you think this is going to happen? Don't leave it out there in the ethers. I'm going to make a lot of money, but you don't say there's no time constraints. There's no time limit. You haven't placed any time on when this is supposed to happen. And if you're asking for big money, you got to be realistic. How much time do you realistically, unless you win the lottery, how much time do you realistically think you're going to become a millionaire? That's a good, noble ambition. But what's that going to take? What's that going to take? What do you have to do for that? You can't wish it into existence. You have to say, this is what I'm going to do given this time frame. It is what you would like to do rather than what you should do. Don't let people shoot on you. People will tell you this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do, all that good stuff. People either establish excessively difficult objectives, many of us can tell you that quickly become unrealistic, unreachable. Or they set relatively easy goals that they quickly become bored with. Mm-hmm. That's why he says that your goals and objectives must be SMART. Specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time-related. So if you're serious about making New Year resolutions, you have to take all that into consideration. And quite frankly, they can be achieved. They absolutely can be achieved if you are smart. If your measurement is smart, you're using SMART concept, the SMART method. I can tell you how many years you can tell yourself how many years that you have tried to make to achieve some of your goals and you find that you can't. It's probably because they all these different concepts are not a part of your objectives. Your resolutions are not specific, they're not measurable, they're not assignable. I think assignable is very, very important. And when we talk about assignable, we're talking about you assigning it to yourself, not assigning it to somebody else. Nobody can make your dream come true but you. That's the God honest truth. Nobody can make your resolutions become a reality but you. And you have to be so determined. So if you've made your resolution for this year, now you have an option. You have to do it either with the Gregorian calendar or the New Year calendar, Chinese or whatever it is you choose. It's so important that you now begin to use the SMART concept. I could fill a basket with all my aspirations, but realistically, they're not specific. There's just too many of them. And I'm not going to be able to achieve them. But I can if they're specific. If I know one or two, you don't have to achieve everything in 1 year. You don't have to achieve it in 2 years. If it takes you 1 year to achieve that specific thing, good. If it takes you 2 years, that's fine. But work on it. Stay on it. Be about it. Make sure it's realistic. You can't be a cowboy when you have no concept about what horses are. Before you can be a cowboy, you have to learn how to ride horses. You have to be around them, have to know how to manage them. So it has to be realistic. And if it's not realistic, then you must do what you've got to do to make it realistic. Or just, that's not part, that you shouldn't even be considering that. Make sure you can measure it. I cannot overemphasize this. Don't leave anything open. Oh, if it happens, it happens. Because guess what? You're going to get tired of it. You're going to get tired of it. And before you know it, you're done with it. You're bored with it. So some people ask you, well, how long have you been in this business? It doesn't matter. The important thing is you are focused on this thing, and it doesn't matter what it takes. You will get there. I always tell people, I will see you at the top. What does that mean? If you give up what your ambitions and your objectives are, we're not going to see you at the top. You will stay in the valley. So if somebody tells you out, they see, oh, wow, you are working hard. This is really good what you're trying to do. And they say, oh, we'll see you at the top. That means they're expecting you to stay on target. Measure what it is. Am I succeeding? You can measure it at the end of the year. You can even measure it every quarter. And if every quarter you're not making any headway, you need to see what you're doing wrong. Nigeria, I won't talk about it. Nigeria is one country that you can be anything. You can make all kinds of money. I know. It's difficult. Inflation is high, all of that. But if you have a good idea, and you focus on that idea and you work on that idea, I'm telling you, if you live in Africa, if you're in Africa or in America, wherever, if you have a very good idea and you work that idea, you can make it. But the problem is that we get, we pick things that are not measurable. We can't determine if we're being successful, and we quit. Rest and pause, if you will, but don't you dare quit. That is what losers do. Losers quit before, once it gets tough. I can't do this anymore. And they quit. But if you believe in something, anything that you want, you got to fight for it. You have to fight for it. You have to make sure that it's attainable, it's realistic, you can measure it, and you will stay on it. Chineke can't do everything for you. It's good to pray. It's good to pray, because what happens when you pray for whatever it is you want to achieve, Chineke hears it. Chineke picks it up. And then the whisper in your ear, you listen inwardly, you will hear the Creator tell you exactly what to do. The problem is maybe you're not listening. Because it didn't happen today, and that means it's no good. Chineke didn't hear what I said. No. They've already heard. And they're telling you what to do, but you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. Some of us want things to happen immediately. If it doesn't happen immediately, it's no good. I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, let me try something new. The only thing that works, and if you look in history, if you look at everything that you're using today in your life, was something somebody stuck with. Everything that you're using. I was outside the other day and I was watching the planes that were going by, and I said to my brother, isn't it amazing that we can get on that thing in there due to technology and nature as well? We can fly, we can go wherever. But if you look in the history and see the Wright brothers, what they did, they didn't immediately, they had crashes, they stuck to it. That was an objective. It was measurable. They stuck to it. That's why you and I can get on a plane today. Somebody stuck to it. And that's the same thing with you. Stick to your goals, whatever that may be. Whatever time frame you choose to use. Whichever, if you want to use Gregorian calendar, you want to use New Year Festival, you want to use the Chinese one, it doesn't matter. Whichever one you choose to use, or use your birthday. I like that. Whichever one you want to use, just stick to it. Don't quit. Don't you quit. Quit must not be part of your vocabulary. You know what they tell you, GCK. What does it mean when they say GCK? GCK is a hold on. Don't quit. When somebody is admiring your effort, they say GCK in Igbo language. That means hold on to it. Fight, work hard. You will get it. But if you're in the habit of, it didn't work. Let me try something else. GCK, hold on. Keep doing whatever it takes. You know, yesterday I had my program yesterday. I talked about the 91-year-old woman who was climbing up to my living room in Nigeria. And I was going to hold her. I was, because she's an elderly woman, I thought, oh, my goodness, let me help her up. She told me, no. No, I can do it. I don't need your help. I traveled almost 5 miles to get to your house. I didn't need your help then. But she was determined. She knew where she was going. She had a goal. Older she is. Old age is in the mind. And you just don't quit. And I'm going to tell you this, never stop regardless of the obstacles. Nosferatu, yes, the obstacles will be there. Oh my God, as a matter of fact, that's part of what it takes for you to achieve is the obstacles. The obstacles are not bad things. They teach you things. They help you build your muscles. Flex your muscles. They teach you what to do and what not to do. You need obstacles. You learn how to weave and bob. Get out of the way. It's okay. You know, when they say this too shall pass, it really does pass. Yes, it does pass. As long as you don't stay in the muck, as long as you don't sabotage your mind and say, you can't go. No. GCK means hold on. Don't stop. Although it may be dark, they say the morning has to come. There's a reason for that. Even in the middle of your challenge, in the darkness, you will find a way out in the light. Hold on. Now, I'm challenging all of you. Take one. Don't take 2 or 3 or 4. Take one objective. Take one objective. They're lessons. Yes, Nosferatu. The obstacles are lessons so that you know how to succeed against them. If the same obstacle presents itself again, that's right. Many things that we see as challenges, if you really look back, we have already solved it. It didn't just start today. We're experiencing quite a bit of things that we experienced last time. But guess what? We found a way to come out of it. That's why they say this too shall pass. GCK. Down, Bali. Keep it going. Look, let me tell you the truth. A lot of times we think that success has to do with money. No, not really. Success is not all about money. Success is good health. There are rich people who died yesterday. There are rich people who would love to switch sides with you today. There are rich people who are offering millions of dollars to have a healthy kidney, to buy a kidney from someone. Rich people who are waiting for somebody to die so they can maybe be put on the list so they can have a heart. It is imperative that we understand that where you are today is not always going to be where you are tomorrow. Wealth is a good thing, but it is not all that it's all about. Wealth is a good thing, but that's not what it's all about. Good friends, that's wealth. Good family, God, is that a wealth? Yes, that's wealth. Money is a mump upon wealth. Understand that. Money can't even buy you good friends or buy you fake friends. They hang around. People who know you just because you have your money. No, honey, those are no friends. So that money is not buying you real friends. Real friends are those who know you when you didn't have it. And when you have it, they still celebrate with you. Wealth is good family. When you're sick and when you need something, they're there for you. That's wealth. So sometimes I think we misconstrue the importance of wealth, because I'm telling you, if you focus on something, if you do something good, you will be amazed that wealth will follow you. Wealth will come. Okay, Chia Dozier is back. Hello, welcome. We missed you, you know. We missed you.
Sorry, it's
we were
power
having a little bit of a difficulty.
Power cuts. It's power cuts.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness. That's what Ochoaja is experiencing right now, because they lost their electricity. So I was just talking about the fact that, you know, a lot of times we don't really realize what wealth is. You know, when we make we want to be rich and we want to be this, we want to be that, and we forget that if your objective is to be healthy, that's wealth. You know, money, money may help. If you want friends, good friends, real friends, money is not going to get that for you. It'll get you a whole bunch of fake friends, even dangerous friends. You know what? I'm going to tell you, the number of individuals who commit suicide when they become multimillionaires is unbelievable. Check it out. Go online, because wealth can bring you all kinds of problems. So be careful what you're focusing your energy on. If you have a good idea, you want to make that idea work. That idea will bring you money. If the objective eventually is to make money with that, focus on that item, and that's what's going to bring it. If your mind is focused on the money, then you may not do what it takes to get there. What do you think?
I think you said it all. Okay, Divya. But the first thing we have to do is that we have to distinguish between riches and wealth. For me, I think we are pursuing after riches today, and riches is patterned after materialism, and in most cases, crass or base materialism. Wealth has to do with a whole lot of things. Riches are part of wealth, but it's not the ultimate. A wealthy person, our ancestors were wealthy, and in that period when they talked about wealth, Ogerenya is not necessarily someone who is rich. It's someone who is yes, he has taken care of the material things, but every other thing you require in life, he has attained it, or she has attained it. Good family, what we use in measuring Ogerenya: good family, healthy children, a cultural individual, a magnanimous individual, one who is a coordinator of society and family, and all of these constitute wealth. So wealth for us is holistic. It's not just one aspect, one tiny aspect of things, of being rich. And then again, you know, we were trained up. If you go back to our ancestral days, people were trained up to be cultured, to have conscience, to be disciplined on the principle of communalism. Onye kwala ka ibe ya daa, onye ji aka ya nyetụ nwa nchi maka nchi adị arị elu. So there is a concept of sharing, and everybody was brought up on the concept of uwezuoke, relativity of wealth. Yes. First and foremost, be thankful for what you have and be content with what you have. Manage what you have. The way we were brought up those days, that if there's no television in our house, there's no television in any other place, you just simply forget it and face your life. But today, the church, actually Pentecostalism, and the mentality of your miracle is on the way. Claim it.
Yes.
Pursue it. You know, so everybody now, Zabu, stampede. So we're all on the fast lane. And like I say, in Nigeria, and in a few African countries I've traveled, this culture has permeated. Everybody is on the smart lane. Everybody is on the fast lane, not even smart lane, fast lane. Nobody wants to be, and all of us are doing smart thinking. Nobody is talking about constructive thinking that takes time to build. And so in Nigeria, we're very smart. People think of smart ways. So if you are a very straightforward person, you are going to suffer real hard here because people will look at you as mumu. It doesn't know
Yes,
anything.
yes.
So being straight, being honest, means being stupid. That is the kind of culture reigning now. And it is the warning that our ancestors gave to us, and ancient civilization. Ancient civilization warned that we should not make materialism the forefront of society. The human being, nothing should surpass the human being. And that is why God is the center, because God is about value system. But once you make materialism or money the center focus, like as is done in capitalism, over time, no matter how you try to create checks and balances, the human focus will be on that. And then the human being can be used as a means to attain those things. And that's what is happening now. So human beings can be sold. They got no conscience. You can sell your fellow human beings to get money. And once you have money, you have a lot of crooked people around you. You have a lot of people singing your praises, telling you where you should spend your money, where you should not be there. So that's the kind of thing happening now. So for us to really live in the today world, we have to have the mind of the ancients and then marry modern, contemporary, and ancient so that we can create a balance.
That's right. There has to be a balance. One of the most frustrating things is like when you go home and, it's when you go home, you're spending all sorts of money. I mean, it's constant. Then you get to the airport and you get ready to leave, and everybody at the airport is demanding money from you. And they're not listening when you're saying, I just came back. I've spent all my money. They check your passport from one point to the other. It's never enough. At any point you get to, you've got to give money. And that's that focus on money, focus on wealth, money as wealth, only as the indication of wealth. So it's a mindset that we have to really, Well, we've come to the end of our show today. I want to thank Ukuna Charles, Nosferatu, Kelena Osimiri, and all the other individuals who have been coming in and out. Thank you all so much. And Chiodozie Okoro, thank you so very much for today. We are going to do this again next week because, and of course, you have to come back. We really, truly enjoy you. You share all sorts of wonderful words with us. Okay. Let us all pray for Yudi and hope that he and his family will be okay, and the electricity will come back so that they'll be okay. On that note, I will say thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.